Hello and welcome to episode 184 of Gamers of the Lost Spark podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Stuart Burgess, and joining me this week is not Mr. Stephen Carter. The OG is back himself for a second week in the row. It's Mr. Anthony Chesson. Anthony, how are you?
I'm not too bad, Stu. I'm not too bad. How are you? I'm a poor man, Steve Carter, is what I am.
Can you get some drawings? Can you get Nicola to do some hand paintings and things like that and stick them on the wall for me?
I've got my pad here. I'll just quickly sketch something. I'll put my hand in paint or something.
Make an abstract. But yeah, no, I mean, Steve sends his apologies. He had to do a last minute checkout to watch the football. No, sorry, to go and look at some primary schools for Seb, is what he told us anyway.
Yes, we don't believe him for a moment. That he is, what is it? It's 7:30 on the night of England game. I'm sure he's kind of getting ready to watch some footy.
He wasn't like confident that we would get this podcast done in an hour and a half, so he could finish at 9 o'clock on the dot. He even went to a boot fair the other week and bought a third monitor. So now he can have three monitors in front of him: one to pod on, one to play on, and one to watch football on.
Holy moly, that man is committed.
Oh, he's certainly committed to the passion. But how are you? You had a good couple of weeks since we last podded with our prediction show.
Yes, it's been really good, actually. I've had a really good couple of weeks. I've been playing lots of games, which we'll get into in a moment. And it's quite nice, actually, because I've been working from home today, where last time we podded, I was hot-footing it back from London, but I've actually been working from home, so it feels a lot nicer, a lot more civilised this time. So, yes.
Well, I did that classic thing this morning, which was, I should be back. I'm only going to Surrey to do a service call. And then as I sort of sent it, I'm like, oh, no, I've jinxed myself now because it's a service call. But luckily, it's one of those weird ones. I got to the client's house and the problem that I thought was there had fixed itself without me actually doing anything. So I sort of tested a few bits and pieces and swapped a Skybox around because, I mean, this is a massive, massive system that we've got in this house. We've had it for probably 10 years. Wow. And it's distributing multiple signals to like 14 TVs around the house. But no, I managed to solve it. And then I'm like, okay, right, let me do what I need to do. So I did what I needed to do. And then slowly just walked out the house after checking everything, got in the van. I'm like, right, I can get home. But then I came here and I had a massive issue last time we podded with the audio and where it was doing something weird my end. And I could not get it to do it this afternoon, but I've managed to fix it, I think. I mean, I've tested it a few times before we started recording, and I think we're okay. So, yes. But we'll see tomorrow when I come to edit this and start smacking my head against the wolf.
Only time will tell. Only time will tell. I say one thing that I have done since we last podded is we've had air conditioning installed at home. So for the first time, I am podding. And I'm cold. And it's lovely because, when we used to do the pod in the summer, way back when, especially like this show, like kind of breaking down showcases and stuff like that, I'd be so hot. I'd be so hot my ears were sweating, but we've had air conditioning put into this office and also into the main bedroom as well. And it is absolute bliss. It is just so lovely. It was really quick and easy. They came round on a Monday. I'm glad the weather's getting like hotter because it's been raining since we had it installed. But they came round at the Monday after the pod and it only took them about, I think it was probably about 5 hours, and they just got it done. And it took longer to put the scaffolding up than it did to actually kind of like put the aircon in. But it's so nice. Like today's been like the first real day that I've been able to kind of have it on, and I've just been, because there are days when I'm up here and it's like when it's 30 degrees in the UK, I have to come out at 1 o'clock, because it's just too hot. But today it was absolute bliss. It's cold. I've got chilly feet right now, which I absolutely love.
Yeah. Thanks for that. I've shut the office door so I don't hear my daughter next door, and I'm starting to sweat already, and it's only 4 minutes into this.
I'm as cool as a cucumber.
But you may have air conditioning, but I've got something. Ready?
Uh-oh.
Might not work with my headphones on. What do you reckon about that, baby?
Oh my God, that's just like, so for the audio listeners, Stu is looking cool right now. Cool.
You can actually see us in the reflection of the glasses.
I can see me. They're very cool. What are they? What have you got there?
So these are, let me see if I can bring them up. So these are the ROG, these are the ROG X-Real glasses.
Right.
So fundamentally they're the glasses that X-Real have been around for a few years now, and they basically project an image in front of your eyes.
Yes.
So you can plug your phone into it and bits and pieces like that. But what's happened is ROG or Asus ROG have sort of like collaborated with them to produce a gaming set, which is ideally matched to the ROG Ally X, or to the
Right.
Ally. So fundamentally, there is I don't know if you'll be able to see it on camera, but there is it's basically there. There's a little USB-C
Yeah.
there, and then what you do is it's basically right-angled USB-C into the top of your ROG Ally. It works with the normal and the X, I believe, and then literally it just mirrors the image of the Ally. So you can play on your Ally like you're holding it like normal, but the image is in your eyes. So fundamentally, it's like beamed up on the wall or the whatever's in front of you.
Yes. That is so awesome. That is so. I can just imagine that, like on a flight, on the train, just anywhere. Just kind of that. That is such a good. That's a good purchase, Stu.
It's I mean, fundamentally, it was when I went to France recently, I took it with me, took the handheld with me. I was struggling with my glasses on to sort of play Forza, sort of really to get immersed into it, because obviously, I mean, it's a good size screen, but it's obviously not a TV. So when I was away, I was pretty much hunting XP boards and just doing those bits and pieces, which I was thoroughly enjoying, because that's what Forza's good at. But I was sort of like, do you know what? I'd love to be able to play something bigger. I'd like to be able to, if I go away, like I was away last week, I think, for a few nights in a hotel, I'd like to be able to just, put this on and then just beam it up in front of me.
Yes.
Also, because it's USB-C, it will talk to anything that's a USB-C device. So it will talk to my iPhone. So I think it was Manny was saying that he's got a similar sort of pair, and he plugs it into his phone, and then he watches films on the train to work and things like that. It's I haven't tried it on the MacBook yet, but I'm assuming it will work because it's USB-C. And then they also with the ROG version, they give you, or they send you like a dock, which then takes a HDMI in. So what you can also do is hook up pretty much anything that's got a HDMI connection on it. So I watched a few videos before I got them, and they had put a PlayStation on them. They put an Xbox on them. So far so good. They were a little bit of a, oh, okay, this is not really what I expected when I got them, and I think as Manny confirmed, was because you could still sort of see, like, like when you wear sunglasses and you pull them slightly away from your face, you can still very much see around what's going on, which is good and bad. It was a bit weird to sort of like get used to them, but then I used them a little bit more, and I sort of scaled the size down a little bit more, so it was a smaller screen inside it, and then they seemed to work a lot better.
That's perfect. That's awesome. So you can watch videos. You not only play games, because I guess you can connect to the USB controller or a Bluetooth controller to your ROG, so you could actually just like put the ROG down and then just like play it with a controller if you wanted. Oh, that's so cool.
Sitting in front of me here, I got I can't think what they called it now, but I've got the dock for the because I wanted to. We got a couple of keys off of Keymailer, I think it was, to play some Steam games,
right,
for the pod, and I'm like, okay, so how can I get the ROG on the streaming setup in the office and play it just like on an Xbox controller, but on the monitor in front of me? So I did a little bit of searching around, and this one's got hardwired Ethernet connection. So think of a Switch dock, but on steroids a little bit. So it's got like 2 USB-Cs into it. It's got HDMI out of it. It's got an 10 gig, I think it's a 10 gig Ethernet connection into it. Plus it's got a few USB-Cs, USB-As. Cool. So you sort of dock it. I took a picture the other day. I'll put it up on the screen. So you dock it, connect it into the monitor. So let me remember this. I've got it going from the dock into an HDMI switch, into the Elgato 4K capture card, up to the monitor. So I've got the ability to record and or stream from both the Xbox and the Ally, I believe, at the moment.
That's really cool. I like that. That's really cool. Because the ROG will just instantly switch into Steam, won't it? You can just stick into Steam, and then you can then just run your Steam library from there.
Yeah, and that's, I think we'll get onto it with some of the stories, but like, although I would like to get the Steam machine, I don't think I will. And actually, if the ROG could do that for the limited games that I'll play, if I can get that on a bigger monitor like the 32-inch one I've got in front of me here, then will I sit downstairs and play a Steam game on the 77-inch TV? To be honest, I'm not sure at the moment.
Yeah.
So for me, it sort of actually fits quite well my wanting to play some Steam games, wanting to play the Xbox or the PlayStation wherever I am in the house, sort of thing.
That's really cool. I love it. It's great that you can just, I love the ROG. It's such a nice kind of form factor. And like I say, having that additional feature, because I had a Steam Deck for a while, and I bought a whole load of Steam games, but now I can just play that. I was playing God of War on it the other day, because God of War is a game that I just, especially after what we saw at the Sony State of Play, I just want to play God of War, but I kind of get as far, and then I hit a brick wall every time. I'm just like, so I really need to just kind of like hunker down and go, right, I'm playing God of War now. Whether it's on the PS5 or on the ROG, I just need to play it. I just need to kind of get through it, because I was talking to some friends about the new game, and they said you really need to play like the first two to kind of appreciate it. It's really one of those ones to kind of to hit where it needs to hit, and you really need to play like the two new God of War games.
I was going to say, is that the two new ones, not some of the OG ones, but the two new ones, right?
I'm not going that far back. I'm not like, it's just like, I'm like, no, I won't do that. No, but the two new ones, because I think it's very much about the fact that his wife has died right at the start, so it's kind of very much about that one.
So you're not Mr. James Thomas then, who will happily go back and play like a Nintendo game or something from years gone by to and play it for like 6 or 12 months when no one's probably played it in like 20 years.
Last week, Nintendo, straight after the Nintendo Direct, they had Donkey Kong 64 was available on the Nintendo online store, so it fires up the N64 emulator and went straight into Donkey Kong. You had the really cool Donkey DK rap, which was awesome, and I jumped in and I was just like, my heart sank, because I remember how good the graphics were back then, but how bad they are now, and I was just like, I just wish they remastered this. I really am old is old, and I will play an old game for like probably about 5 or 10 minutes, and then I just want new and shiny. I just that's it for me. I kind of played it. I loved the rap as it started, went into the game and started like, even the controls are fine, but I just couldn't get over the graphics, and I literally just played it for about 10 minutes. So I'm just like, no. Played it, loved it, thank you. That was it. But back in the day, Donkey Kong 64, I put so many hours into that. I think I played through it about twice, because it was just so good. It's one of those ones where you probably had already played Banjo, you'd played Mario 64, so you were just desperate for like another 3D platformer, and that was so. It hit the nostalgia pang, but that lasts for about 15 minutes, and then I'm out. So it was really cool.
Jumping ahead to what we've been playing, did you say on message the other day that you've been playing the Star Fox demo?
I played Star Fox demo, yes. And so I jumped into, because again, after that Direct, they released a demo for Star Fox. They also released a demo for Kingdom Hearts as well. So there was like a couple of demos. So I jumped into the Star Fox 64, went through the tutorial, and again, I'm just like, no, it's just not for me. It was, honestly, I was on the train coming home, playing it on a handheld. I never dock my Switch. I never put it on the TV. I'm always a handheld. Same with Switch, same with Switch 2. So I was playing it kind of on the handheld, and it was just like, I was bored. I was actually bored playing a brand new video game, and I was like, I'm so glad they put that demo up, because I was ready to buy it. I was ready to jump in, because I quite liked the demo, the trailer that they had. I quite liked it, showing off some of the demo. But when you're actually playing it, it's just boring. It was just boring. So I was just like, sorry, Nintendo, you're not getting my money now. I'm just like, but, obviously the demo was fantastic. And if anyone's on the fence, I'd urge you to try that demo, because it takes you through the start of the game. So you've got like the real kind of like opening levels of the game. But it just, again, that's another game on the N64. I loved it. I actually thought it was groundbreaking, but this one just, so tedious. It was really tedious.
I think that's what's good about, I think we've said before, me and Steve have said on the pod, it's like back in our day when you used to get Xbox magazine and get the disc on the front of it, and I think demos, Game Pass, PS Plus, they all are good in a way that it just gives us the ability to try some new stuff. Because I think I looked at Call of Duty the other day, the new Call of Duty this year, and I mean, I think was it with or without discount? I can't remember, but that's like £90 now, and yeah, and even for me, it's like £69.99, 70 quid, or £70 or £90. I'll happily spend £70 maybe, but £90 is a bit like, do you know what? I'm just not ready to commit to that, especially with like Call of Duty at the moment being a bit hit and miss. And so having been able to have the demo and being able to have, a few minutes, whether it's 20 minutes, half an hour of just going, I wonder if this is for me. I know some people might look at that and go, well, that's a missed sale if they don't buy it. Also, that's not an annoyed customer like me with Red Dead Redemption that you spent £110 on the game and then you're 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours into it and you're just like, do you know what, this is not for me and there's nothing I can do about this now.
Absolutely. That's one of the reasons why I love like the PlayStation Plus, because if you're on a certain tier of PlayStation Plus, they allow you to trial a game for a couple of hours. So there's it's not every game, but you can like jump into the first couple of hours of Cyberpunk or first couple of hours of, and I think there was a game called, I think it was Wukong, that looked stunning. It just looked absolutely amazing. I played the trial of that, and again, it's kind of not for me. I appreciate this game, but it's not for me. It's kind of, I've done that and I've gone, oh my God, I want to play this game. Like, just give this to me now. But there are some games, as you say, you're not worried about it because there's plenty of other games, but it's good just to be able to jump in and just give it a try.
Well, that's what's beautiful about it. And getting onto the games we've been playing, I was going to put him, but he was a bit weird. He was going to be this close to me and he just looked a bit weird. Mr. Lego Batman. So you have still been playing. Actually, you've completed. Did you roll credits on Lego Batman at the weekend?
Absolutely. On I think it was Monday night. Monday night, I rolled credits on Lego Batman. I could feel it ramping up over the weekend, but I rolled credits on this. It's a superb game. I was waxing lyrical about it last time I was on the pod, and it just kept going. I mean, last time I had the Prince moment that was fantastic. There are so many more moments in this video game. It just keeps going. One of the best bits about the back half of the game is Matt Berry from the IT crowd. He does the voice of Bane, and his Bane impression is just superb, and it's what he's saying as well. It's not that he's just kind of nails the voice. I'm not going to do the impression, but he nails the voice and he nails the kind of thing, but it's what he's saying as well that just had me, I was belly laughing. I was literally playing this game, headphones on, just belly sitting in the corner, just like belly laughing to it. But I've rolled credits on the main game, so they do take you through like a story. So there is a story that lends itself from all of the movies and also the animated show as well, and they kind of like take you through that, and then you get to a certain point. So I rolled credits, and when the credits started as well, it was just superb. So I just sat there, watched the credits, had a little bit of a clap to TT Games and to that Lego game, and then I just kind of jump back in, because now I'm kind of like, what I'm doing is I'm now at that point where I'm looking at the achievements to kind of go, right, what do I need to do? What switch to this character, do this thing. So I'm kind of now using the achievements to kind of get more fun from an absolutely superb game. My favourite game so far this year, and we've had Forza Horizon 6, but Lego Batman is absolutely fun for it's just a fun game, and it just doesn't stop giving, and it's just amazing. And the characters you unlock, the abilities that each one of them have, they're just absolutely superb, and you never kind of, so far throughout the story, you never kind of go, what, you're never frustrated going, what do I need to do? And just watching one of my favorite bits is like what just stealthing, similar to Arkham Knight, Arkham City, where you go up on a little gargoyle and you just wait for them to walk under and look at their path and then just jump down, kill them, jump back up again. This is available in Lego form, and I was just loving it. I was spending so long just in those areas, going from gargoyle to gargoyle and just taking them out kind of one by one, and it's just superb.
It does seem to be like, I mean, the Lego games have always been good. I mean, I've played a few sort of Star Wars and things like that, and they've always got their own little edge to them. But I think a lot of people were saying early on with this one that it's very Arkham, it's very Batman, and it's also Lego, and it's got the Lego element to it, but it's also got some really, really good, elements for Batman fans, basically, like the Prince song and all those little bits and pieces. So I think anybody looking at it and going, "Oh, it's a Lego game, I'm not going to play that." It's more of an Arkham game than a Lego game. It's just a Lego disguise, really, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, the combat is straight out of Arkham. It's straight out of the Arkham games. You have the Y to kind of melee when someone comes in. You have the Y to switch your focus. You have a whole skill tree as well. So I've just been going through my kind of Batarang and kind of like upgrading that. So you have skills for you, but you also have skills for your equipment as well. And then each of the characters, whether it's Batgirl or Nightwing, you have the skills for them as well. So it really is just like an Arkham game. It really is just like, so what I ended up kind of, for most of the game, I had the Dark Knight Returns, the Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns Batman. I either had Robin in his New 52 outfit, which was amazing, or I had Nightwing in kind of maybe the animated series outfit. And I spent a lot of the time either driving around in the 1989 Batmobile or the Tumbler or even the animated one as well. It put me in the Batman Robin kind of, the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger. It put me in that one, which is really elaborate. And I just couldn't get on with it. I was like, no, I hate this. Why am I doing this to myself? And I just went back to the 1989 or the Tumbler. I tried the Batman versus Superman because I love Batfleck. He's like my favorite Batman, and it's really grey for some reason. And I actually saw the kit in Sainsbury's because I almost started going, right, I need to start collecting these Batmobiles in Lego. I'm like, it got me to the point, and Nicola went, don't look over there, there's the Batman versus Superman one. And I was like, ooh, but it's really grey for some reason. It's like, it's not black, it's grey, and it's just really, it's bizarre. So, but it's such a great Batmobile.
No, it's a game that I've got to get back into. I mean, I've pretty much been, my life pretty much has been Forza since we last podded. I think I've been busy generally doing lots of bits and pieces. I've been away once or twice since we last podded. I can't remember now. So, and because Batman wasn't on the ROG, or you could cloud it, and I was staying in a Premier Inn where I had the unlimited internet type thing, so I probably could have, but I just took the ROG with me, or here downstairs I've just been playing Forza Horizon 6, and I think this year I forgot about the little competition that we did, find all the roads, find all the XPs, find all the mascots. I wonder who got all those.
Which I won every single one of those. Thank you very much.
I will now scroll on the screen all of the messages. This feels satisfactory. I got all the roads. But I think I've just been like, I don't know, like on a Saturday morning, I've just been waking up and going, do you know what? I don't really fancy watching something, but I also don't really fancy playing something. I know, I'm just going to chuck on Forza Horizon. I'm just going to go and get some mascots. So I think it was Saturday, and over Saturday and Sunday, I just cleared everything off the map apart from the mascots off the treasure map. I just went and found all of them and crashed into those happy little bowls of ramen and those little peas in a pod. and I just thought, right, okay, I did that. And then I started to go and do a couple of more difficult XP boards. And then I also did, I think after we podded last time, I went off and did one of the full seasons. Was it the winter season? Because I think we're in spring. We're in spring now, I think.
We're spring now, aren't we? Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so I went off and did all the seasonal events and unlocked like the flashy Mazda car and a few bits and pieces like that. So it's just been quite nice. I mean, even this morning I had to go and see this client and drop something in someone before, but I just went on there. And it just so happened the last thing I searched on the map was cross country, seasonal, and the jumps, can't think what they call them now, the danger zones.
Hmm.
And I just thought, do you know what? I've only got about 4 cross country rides to do, so I'm going to go off and do some cross country rides. So it's just I'm finding I'm just dipping in and out of it, and it's just doing my 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 2 hours that I want to play, and I'm not having to think about anything. I'm just driving and just cruising around.
Yeah, that's so cool, and that's one of the reasons why I'll keep coming back to Forza. You know, even though I've kind of completed it, you know, kind of rolled credits on Forza, I will keep coming back. There's still a few. I think I've still got about 200 points worth of achievements to get, and again, they help to drive. One of them is like, I think Turn 10. I think Playground Games are gonna fix one of them because they've realised it's gonna take too long, you know, for everybody to do. So I think there's an achievement on there where you're kind of got to rack up hundreds and hundreds of hours or something like that. But apart from that, I'm just jumping in, doing a little bit kind of at the weekend, especially if I'm listening to a podcast, because I found another game that we'll talk about in a minute, which is like James Bond. I found that I cannot listen to a podcast and play that game. You know, there's so much going on in that game, and you have to listen for the little noises and nuances that if I want to listen to a podcast on like a Saturday morning, then I'm going to put Forza on. Then I'm going to kind of like you say, like just kind of try and I'm doing those delivery jobs at the moment because there's an achievement to go all the way to the top. So I'm doing those at the moment, and I love that. They are just so good, especially when you've got to drive like 90 miles an hour and you can't slow down. That is freaking awesome. It's really cool.
I think that's probably going to be because I think I'm about 300 points away from unlocking Legends Island or the Gold Wristband or something.
Right.
For my next one, you sort of creep up, and then there's this massive section you have to get to then get any further. So I've just got to that point, but I sort of thought, right, I might unlock that tomorrow because I'm working from home tomorrow. So I thought I might unlock that in the morning, and then but then, yeah, those delivery trucks and the stories, as they call them, I'm like, that's a little bit like the XP boards. I might just go off and do some XP boards this weekend and then maybe do a couple of stories. And I'm almost like, you know, I don't drink anymore, but I would imagine it's like savouring a wine. I'm finding with Forza Horizon 6 that I'm savouring it a little bit more and taking my time with it a little bit more.
Exactly, and I'm glad one of my predictions, but I'm not glad because I really wanted Godzilla. But I'm glad that one of my predictions didn't come true, and they didn't give us DLC right there and then. You know, take your time. There's plenty in that game, and you're absolutely right. You know, going from purple to gold wristband, it is quite. I won't say slog because I really enjoyed it, but it is quite a jump. You know, you've got a lot of racing to do.
10,000 points or something like that you got to get, I think.
I found just doing those big events, you know, the big like Titan things, you know, once you do some of those, it really kind of helps to kind of get those. But once you get onto Legend Island, you've got more roads that you can unlock, and there's a couple of XP boards there and stuff like that. I don't know if there's any mascots on there.
No, because I've got all the mascots. Yeah, I've got all the mascots, and I've been on there because I've gone on there on a couple of the Forza live events where you race against other people. I've gone on there on a few of those, but so I've unlocked some of the roads, but no, I got all the mascots without being able to freely go on there.
Superb. So you've also been playing James Bond as well, haven't you? You've also been you've been playing it as well, haven't you? You've been jumping in.
Yeah, I jumped into it again the other day because I don't know what it is. It just mentally, I've been doing so much stuff with work. It's almost like, I don't want to think about it. I just want to play something. But on Saturday, I was like, right, I haven't played it on the big screen. I've played it up here, you know, which is the 32-inch, and you know, and it's been phenomenal. But I thought I really want to play it downstairs on the big screen, so I went back into it, and it's I'm still pretty much at the beginning, so I'm still doing a couple of training bits. But I went off on. They went into the apartment. It's the first time they all get together in the apartment, and then you end up in the nightclub, which I absolutely loved because I've got a feeling it's Jason Status or someone like that. It's who did the music in there. So I put my cans on and literally turned it up to 11, as they would say, And I'm just like, yeah, this is really good on a Saturday morning.
Such a good level. It is
Yeah.
such a good level. I love all the. I mean, that kind of really opens up like the Hitman-y side of it as well, because there's so many little things that you've got to do. Stick near someone to like download their phone. All of that sort of stuff. Try and make your way around the back, and it's just such a great level. It really kind of. I was after playing that. I don't know about you, but after playing that, I was like, oh yeah, I'm getting to this game. That was kind of that point, that tipping point for me. That I just was like, yeah, I like this.
Well, I think it's I think you go to the toilet out the back to meet someone. Or no, you go to the toilet out the back to get something, and then you end up having a fight with someone who thinks you're chatting up his bird. And then they give you the assignment. And as you're walking to the back going, okay, do I go to the bar or do I go off to that side? You just see that Hitman thing where there's just a couple of little audio waves near a person, and you instantly go, that's an eavesdrop. I need to go and eavesdrop. And I don't know whether it's just Hitman or I think they've done it in they did it in Star Wars Outlaws, I think, the Ubisoft game, where when you went near someone, you saw a little wave and you're like, oh, I need to eavesdrop and listen in. So you sort of, okay, so they said you could do this and you could do that. And again, that was really good. And then I did get to the next training level where they decided to go and get the flag at night so they could have the next day off.
Yes.
And that frustrated me a little bit because I kept on coming across a bundle of people and then finding myself in fisticuffs with about 12 people and then dying. So I've got to think on that one, it kept on coming up and saying to me, you can put the hardness down if you want. No, I'm gonna do it with this one. I'm gonna do it with this one. But no, I mean, I've really, really enjoyed it, and I'm gonna try and jump back into it again this week. How far are you in it? Have you rolled credits? Do you think you're near the end or?
No, I think I'm probably about the midway point of the game. So I've had there's I think Steve got to it last night as well. There's a big kind of set piece that they showed in the demo. I think it was in kind of a state of play for Sony where they showed like an airport level. Right. So I got past that, and then after that, it opens up. So I've met Lenny Kravitz's character. So he's kind of one of the bad characters in this. He's one of the baddies, and I've met Lenny Kravitz's character, which is very cool. And that area, I played it on, I think it was like last Sunday morning, and I just played this area, and it was so good. I really happily, because James Bond does this thing where you kind of you can stealth around, and then every now and then you'll get to a bit where you can go all guns blazing. So, and then it goes back to a bit of stealth, and you always have that option. But I do find that James Bond is a little bit fragile. So I try not to, where possible, I try to do a lot of stealthing, taking them out, making noise so they come over, distract them, set traps, and all of that, rather than really kind of getting hand-to-hand fisticuffs with because I find that I die very quickly. I find I'm either dodging out, so I'm really slick, I'm really cool doing all the espionage and the shooting. The moment I get into a fight, I'm just some stupid idiot that's dancing around. I keep jogging out the way, but I just die a lot. I've seen the mission failed screen way too many times. I'm just so I've just done Lenny Kravitz's area, and I just finished that, and I got to the end of that, and that was at the end of my kind of play session. Because what I'm trying to do is, because James Bond is it's visually stunning. All I want to do is play it on the big TV. So when Nicola and I game, I'm always playing on the smaller TV. Nicola's on the bigger TV. So I just that's why I've been playing Batman, or another game that I'll get to in a moment. I've been playing that there, and I'm just almost leaving I'm leaving Bond for maybe the weekend. And just when I kind of get up early and play it there, and it's just quite nice that every now and then I'm looking forward to kind of jumping in and playing that on the big TV.
Well, I did see I think we discussed it, but I don't think it was part of our predictions. But I did see there is some DLC coming for it with Lenny Kravitz in it as well. So they were Lenny Kravitz will return as in the DLC, but I'm not sure if they gave a date on it. So they are doing some DLC for this. Although I don't want to say bad news, but I did see the comments from Amazon saying that they were going to take over the game or distribute the game, and just please just let IO just do their thing. I mean, publish it, do all that, but just don't think you can make this game yourself now you've got a hit on your hands, because IO are IO, and and it's
now you've got this template, don't think you can just go file save as for the next one, because it's just not going to work. I think that's what I'm saying. Like James Bond's a little bit fragile, and I'm not sure. I don't think there's a way to kind of update the skill tree or kind of give him kind of a bigger life bar. Maybe drop the difficulty by help. But the one thing that I desperately, I mean, you'll be pleased it's not, but the one thing I desperately want is a photo mode in this game.
God, he hasn't.
Because it is, I haven't found a water tower yet, but it is just absolutely stunning. There was this one bit very small bit, where you're driving through London, and it looked amazing. I just wanted it. But the problem is, because I'm playing it on the PlayStation, whenever you try and I'm like, oh my God, that's gorgeous. I'll hit the screen capture. It goes to the pause screen. So what it captures is the pause screen. So I'm just like, damn you, there's got to be a way to do this. But obviously on Xbox, you can just hit it and it doesn't even worry. But on PlayStation, it kind of almost pauses the game to allow you to do what you're doing. So I have to wait for a photo mode. I think the same happened with Resident Evil. When I was playing Resident Evil, it didn't do that. Then they brought out photo mode like kind of a month later or a couple of weeks later. But I really could do with a photo mode in James Bond right now.
Well, it does seem to be that they are updating it, so I'm hoping that they will bring some stuff to it. Talking about water towers, you did know there's water tower in Fortnite this season, don't you?
It doesn't matter. It's still not good. It's not a good one. You sent me a picture. I'm like, that's not a good one. If it was a New York water tower, then I would. I'll just grab my water tower that's over here. No, if it was a New York one, but no, I'm still not jumping in.
I needed to get my Fortnite mention in, even though Steve's not here.
I'm so glad he's not here. But also, I noticed that Sonic the Hedgehog's coming to Fortnite.
I think it's been rumoured for a while. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I have actually not played the latest season of Fortnite because it's a whole, again, I don't know what it is with me lately. It's a bit like Bond. It's just this whole mental block. It's like, I've got to learn a new map. I've got to learn these sprite things. I've got to learn this. It's like, I just can't be bothered to jump in at the moment. Let's just play Forza. So yes. I don't even think Steve's been in. So neither of us have got into the new Fortnite. But I was watching something. I think it was like a rundown of the new season on YouTube or something like that. And then all of a sudden this water tower appeared. And I'm just like, quick, pause it. Snap it and put it on the group.
Nope, I'm still not even to see that. I've seen it now. Thanks very much. You should have teased the leg or something like that.
I should have put across copyright Stuart Burgess so you can't now take that image and put it on your Twitter feed.
Damn it.
So you've been playing another game called Junkster?
I have indeed. So Junkster came to Game Pass yesterday. So I was finished work. Nicola was playing 2 Point Museum. So I just was like, I'll just jump into a game. And I was like, do I jump into Batman? Do I jump into Forza? But I noticed that there was a brand new game on Game Pass called Junkster. So I thought, I'll give it a try. I'll just jump in. It intrigues me because it had a bit of very kind of almost comic book style, art style to it. So I just thought, I'll just jump in. This game is absolutely superb. So I played it for probably about an hour and a half last night. I'm probably going to play it after we finish podding. But it's kind of, so it's a 3D open world platformer where you play this tiny little robot, and each level is a comic book. So each level is a comic book that has a little kind of like something on it. So it has a little kind of collectible on the comic book. And if you finish the level, the little character takes the collectible off and puts it into a diorama. But each level you have like you're building, you're jumping. The mechanic of this game is that you can take items from around the world and you can just suck them in, and then you can reuse them to kind of do a bit of building. So a bit like probably Fortnite. So you can, if there's a gap, you can build a bridge to go across that gap. If there is a wall that you need to maybe traverse, you can add panels to the wall. And it is, so last night on I think the second or third level, there was this comic book, which is one of the collectibles in each level, and it was really high up, and I was like, how the hell am I supposed to get that? And then I noticed there was this little robot suit that you could build. So I built a robot suit with like little legs, and then there was like 2 blocks that gave it its height, and then I put the control mechanism on top of the 2 blocks, and I was able just to walk over there and get to this comic book. It is absolutely superb. You've got a little hammer, so it's a bit like Ratchet and Clank with a hammer, but then you've also got this kind of like build mechanic as well. And the character, who's this little kind of orange robot, is absolutely adorable. You know, he's just like really cool. So it's such a great little game. And again, it's one of those like joys that come to Game Pass. And I hadn't heard anything about it, hadn't seen it in a showcase or an indie, and then I just thought I'm going to jump in, and I really like this game. So it's Junkster on Game Pass. I'm not sure if it's available on other platforms, but it would do well on Switch.
Yeah, I just had a quick look at it, look at some of the images while you're talking. It does look like it's on PS, and it does look like it's on Switch, and I think it's on Steam as well. So it's on all platforms. So I'll download that and have a play. So
it's Play Anywhere as well, so you can play on the ROG if you want as well. So which is really cool.
I'll just put on my glasses now and play while we're podding.
Exactly. You can just do while we're podding, and I can just happily just talk about like other stuff. But no, it's really worth it. It's worth a jump. Like I say, I've done 3 levels so far, and I'm really looking forward to just kind of like continue playing this game. And by the looks of the kind of comic book collection, it shows you which ones you've collected and which ones you've got left. There's still a lot of levels to go, so which is really cool.
Excellent. Well, I'd say it's nice to vary it, doesn't it? I mean, I know, like, we'll probably get on to when we talk a bit later. It's like, I think all of us play a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and it's quite nice to sort of jump into a bit of Forza, jump into a bit of First Light, jump into a bit of Junkster, or just. There was one which I think a few people, I think Kind of Funny were doing it on a stream, and I think Giant Bomb might have done it as well, which was. It was like you were running a Blockbusters, so it was like video store manager or something like that. And I looked at it and I'm like, oh, it's a Steam game, and that has also been a little bit of my catalyst to get the Steam up here, because I've got my nice new office chair that my wife bought me, and I'm like, okay, I can sit in here and actually play some games now with the door open because it's getting really hot. But yeah, so that's what we've been playing. A quick update on my points.
Ooh. Yes.
So I have broken the 250,000 barrier, not pounds, at least pounds then, I wish. So just a very quick update. So my previous total was 743,000 and some change. My current total is 756,133 points.
Nice. Well done. Well done.
So basically that equates to, at the moment, £609.88 in good old British pounds Xbox vouchers. So that's up about £15 from last time we podded. So I've worked out, I mean, I know Helix is not going to cost 700. We don't know at the moment, obviously, with all the news of what's going on or whatever. So at the moment I need, if I'm going to the £700 barrier, I've worked out I need 111,736 points, or if it comes out at Christmas next year, about 6,207 points a month, which is perfectly achievable. So I should be at my 870,000 points by this time next year. But either it ain't going to come out, it's going to be really expensive, or Xbox doesn't exist anymore and Microsoft just drain my account of points and I start crying.
You'll wake up one day and there'll be a tweet from Asher Sharma saying we're stopping the rewards program and we've set them all to 0 or something like that. You know, you
can download your points now, but only to a maximum of £150.
Yes, no more. You know, it's just a maximum one. But it's, you know, and it's we laugh, but that could actually be. I mean, it's quite exactly. You know, it's really interesting because, you know, previously I kind of thought that we would be getting Helix, you know, kind of like late next year, and also that there was no way that they could go beyond £1,000. I'm not so sure now. I just don't know if A, we're going to get one, B, what the cost is going to be, or if they're going to revisit it and actually go, no, we're going to go back to another console, or if at all. It's really bizarre at the moment.
It does seem to be, with what we're hearing on the grapevine, it does seem to be that they're either going to say, look, because of the memory price and all this, like, which is quite sort of like ironic because the Microsoft are so heavily invested in AI, they're arguably putting the price up of memory. But anyway, we won't go there. But it's either going to be they say, look, we're pushing it back a year and we're just going to continue with the Series X, the Series S, which I sort of believe Sony might do as well, obviously because they've got the Pro, or they'll just revisit the spec and they'll go, look, I tell you what, we were going to do the all singing, all dancing, I know, BMW M series, but now, look, I tell you what, we're just going to do a middle of the range option because that's going to fit where we want, and maybe we'll release a more expensive version later on, sort of thing, when prices come down. I just don't know at the moment, but we'll see. We'll find out. I mean, it's not like when one, not getting good games, and two, the consoles are perfectly good as they are at the moment. For I mean, Bond looks fantastic. Forza looks fantastic. You know, how can it get much better?
Exactly. That's what we always. I mean, I'm so glad I invested in the PS5 Pro when I did. You know, I bought that at launch. So when that came out, I kind of bought that straight away, and I'm so glad I did because I probably saved a whole bunch of cash on that. I don't know what it was originally to what it is now, but also it is that kind of nice little refresh of a console, and I will be playing kind of like all of the games that like Control Resonant, all those games that are kind of coming out cross-platform that are PS5 Pro enhanced. I'll be playing them over there. You know, I'm just like, I know I won't get my achievements or my reward points, but I'm just, you know, I'll sacrifice both of those for some good old-fashioned visuals.
Yeah, I was just looking on Amazon. Currently, PS5 Pro is £779.95.
Yikes.
So it's not $1,000 that I think America are having to pay, but I get a 1% commission if you buy it with Amazon affiliation. How generous of them, 1%.
So lovely.
But I mean, whilst we're here, what is a Series X at the moment? If I can see around my mic. Series X is £479.99p. So actually, the Series X is still at a cheap. I mean, actually, it's cheaper. It was £499. So, and it arrived before Father's Day. It's actually that is a price of a console that you would potentially go, oh, do you know what, little Billy, we'll buy you that for your birthday and Christmas present. But I understand that the PS4 Pro is a beast, and but you know that is a nearly £800 for a games console. Even I look at that and go, yeah, that ain't happening.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's raised since when I bought mine as well. So that's gone up since I bought mine. I have no idea what it was when it kind of came out, but it wasn't that expensive.
I would imagine it was probably about $5.99, $6.49, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, so it's definitely kind of added an extra £100 to it.
Easy,
but it's well worth it. You know, getting the Ghost of Yotai, James Bond. You know, those games just look absolutely stunning. And I did notice that. You know, we'll get to our first story in a bit, but I did notice that Halo Campaign Evolved is still coming to PlayStation 5, and it's also a PS5 Pro enhanced as well. So it will be quite interesting to see what that looks like on the PS5 Pro.
That's awesome. Well, talking about the news, let's get on to the news. Before we get onto the news, don't forget you can rate, review this very podcast on the platform that you're watching, listening, dancing to. So if you're looking at it on YouTube, please rate and review us. If you're listening to it on Apple Podcasts, please rate and review us. It helps the podcast get discovered and helps other people listen to us mumbling on about Fortnite. Obviously, when Anthony's on, not so much. So the first news story, the first fun news story. Let's just go there first. The first, because a lot's happened, is literally a showcase recap. Obviously, the last pod we did was our predictions, which went really well. So we're going to do a little bit of a recap. So obviously, you discussed or you mentioned like we had Gears, we've mentioned Halo, and a few other bits and pieces. What were sort of standouts from the showcase for you?
I mean, for me, first of all, you know, the showcase I thought was a really good showcase. I know there's very much mixed opinion, but it's not all for me. But I think, you know, right at the start, the first 4 games that they showed, you know, they showed Gears, they showed Halo, they showed Fable. It was kind of like a constant kind of like 1-2 punch of really good, great looking games as well. So I kind of like Fable looked amazing. I've watched the the half an hour Fable playthrough, which kind of came. I think it was what was shown behind doors at the LA event, and they've now put it up on YouTube, and that's really interesting. And it's really good to see that. But going through all the games, there was Clockwork Revolution as well, so that looked absolutely stunning. We've had a tease of that before, but that looked absolutely amazing. And just seeing all of these games that were basically are coming over the next year or so were just stunning. I know I was just sitting there going, yeah, okay, not for me. This one looks like that other one, but I can't wait to play. I can't wait. I watched the Gears of War trailer in the showcase. I didn't, however, watch the deep dive afterwards because I had seen enough. So Gears is like very, I absolutely love playing Gears. I've played every single one of them multiple times, so I'm quite invested in Gears. It's something that Nicola and I play together a lot. So I just decided that what I've seen, they showed quite a lot, considering there was a 45-minute show afterwards. They showed a lot of Gears at that start of that game, but seeing that they've built it from the ground up, it's got a whole new mechanics. You've got traversal. There's a whole load of new stuff in there. I was like, I've seen enough now. You've got my money. I'll probably be paying the early access money, so to get that. But they've got my money, and I want that game as soon as possible. I've got to wait until October. They did date it, which was really good. But so I think really kind of Gears, Fable, Halo were kind of my standouts. What about you, Stu? What really grabbed you?
I mean, yeah, as you said, it was a little bit like when it started, it went straight into E-Day. I'm like, oh, hello, this looks good. And again, I was a little bit surprised, like you, that they went on so long with it. I did leave the deep dive afterwards, and I was watching it, but then I was also doing a few bits and pieces, so it was on in the background. So I was paying attention, but not sort of paying attention. But that looks absolutely stunning. I had no intentions of playing Halo again, campaign evolved. Because I've not got a PS4 Pro, so it's like there's no point playing it on the PlayStation because I don't perceive it to be much different from the Series X. But after watching that, I'm like, right, yeah, this has got me all over. I really want to dive back into this. Metro 2039, that looks good. I mean, I think I said on one of the pods with Steve, I actually went back and bought the previous two or three Metro games because it was sort of a bit of a discount. So I'm going to go back and play a few of those. I mean, yeah, it was one of those classic cases where to buy the last game, the last Metro game was, I don't know, let's say $29.99, or to buy the box set was $24.99. So it's like, I might just buy the box set. So that I really enjoyed. Fable, I'm looking forward to. Honestly, I'm not sure if that actual what they showed at the showcase did any favors to me. I think I preferred it when they did the deep dive. Mm-hmm. So we knew Fable was coming, so I suppose they had to show it, but I'm not sure.
Well, they've given it another date, haven't they? I mean, they've openly said, Microsoft openly
February
said,
now, isn't it?
Yeah, 23rd of February. Yeah, so they've openly said they've got out of the way of GTA. They've basically said, Fable needs its time, and they have moved it so they're out of the way of GTA.
Can I just say this because Steve's not here? Everybody's talking about getting out of the way of GTA, and I'm gonna play GTA, and I'm looking forward to playing GTA. But quite frankly, if a Gears E-Day or a Fable or a Call of Duty lands anywhere close to GTA, I would potentially play that over GTA. I'm just like, Steve's now punching the table or throwing a screen out the window.
He's like, why, Stu? I mean, the one thing that I think might upset Steve's little Yorkshire pudding cart is the fact that Nintendo, in their showcase, showed Ocarina of Time remake. Yes. Well, they didn't really show it. That actually made me rage. For the very first time for this year, I raged because I've been waiting for it. They built up to it, and then they just showed a little picture of Link fast asleep, and then they left it. I thought, oh, here they go. They're going to show that opening level where you go through, you see the Dooku tree, but they didn't. They just left it. And they went, I know they're going to have a Nintendo showcase about it soon, and probably show the movie at the same time, but that's coming this year. Would Nintendo come out in November with that? They said it's going to be 2026.
They
Are they going to go, do you know what? We'll go toe-to-toe with GTA. And that will... I mean, it's going to be really interesting because if Nintendo do make Ocarina of Time this year, if they do get it out this year, Game of the Year discussions is going to be really interesting. Because a lot of people are going to go back, and this is that nostalgia that I like, which is the nostalgia but with really good graphics. So it's going to be really interesting to see kind of what happens if they do end up bringing it out.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, but again, Nintendo will do what Nintendo does. So I think they would just go, we're going to put it out here, and then whatever's whatever type of thing.
They'd be like, what's a GTA?
Yeah, what's that game everybody's talking about? I quite liked it when Crazy Taxi turned up, but I've since learnt that was AI generated, that whole trailer, apparently.
What?
Yeah, it was all sort of like generated within AI, I think. So I don't think it's got any realism on the game. I think it was kind of funny. I was listening to, and they sort of said that the day after it sort of was announced that it was a created demo, not an actual sort of demo. I want to speak to Mr. Thomas about Sea of Thieves Custom Seas. I want a Sparks Island, a place where all of us Sparks can go and hang out and shoot some cannons and sail some boats. So I quite like the look of that. As someone who's not hugely played Sea of Thieves, because obviously when it initially came out, it was play with your mates, and it was a bit of a sort of a multiplayer game where, I quite often don't find myself in a position to play many multiplayer games. So. But no, I mean, I think that there was a lot of stuff in that I thought was really, really good, and I enjoyed it. Yes, I was slightly disappointed they ended on Modern Warfare. DMZ was just like the one last thing was something that we knew was coming, and it looked stunning. Yes, it was a little bit weird because it was like, this is real player voices, and it's like, that's not real player voices. I've never been in a multiplayer game of Call of Duty where people are speaking like that. But so it looks good, but it was just a shame not to have that one more thing.
Yeah, I was really hoping. I mean, my prediction was Banjo. I was really hoping that one. I was like, right, we've got to have Banjo. They showed Spyro, didn't they? They showed kind of like, and Spyro, I think Spyro was that one where I thought, this is Banjo. And I think they set that trailer up to make people think that it was Banjo as well.
Definitely.
There was definitely that's a backpack, that's feet. I'm like, and it turned out to be that dragon instead of that bear. But I think there were two standouts for me, two indie standouts. One of them was Bad Crow, which was absolutely superb. It kind of reminded me a bit of the Untitled Goose Game, but with a magpie, wasn't it? Bad magpie.
I think that's one of James's favourites.
That really kind of like stood out to me. And then the other one was Vivarium as well. So Vivarium had a Studio Ghibli, Dogtanian and the Muskehounds kind of look to it, and straight away it was like, I was one of those ones, I was kind of maybe at that point in the showcase slumping a little bit, but then when that started, I was like, oh, hello, set up. I was like, yeah, this is interesting. This is for me. And Vivarium, Bad Magpie and Vivarium. And then there was one last one that really kind of deserves a mention because it's one of those ones where I'm like, I want to play this game. I really want to know what the mechanics like. And that is, it's called Magicians the Devil's Deal. And that kind of looked like a cross between like BioShock, but with kind of like magician elements to it, supernatural. And it was really interesting. And that was another one where I'm like, oh, hello. This has really kind of like piqued my interest.
And I think a lot of them are going to be coming to Game Pass or will be, day one playable. I think there's quite a few games in there which you'll go, do you know what? I'll play this and give it a go. So I downloaded Steve's beautiful AI generated bingo card.
Oh yes.
So we can go through that also with the aid of some sound effects. So first of all, on our bingo card was the new Elite 3 controller. So that was a definite.
You did get a controller though, because they did show that 25th anniversary controller, the green one. So
yeah, we did get a controller. So maybe it's a little bit of a happy cheer as well. The Call of Duty on Game Pass, I think they've just announced yesterday or today that, is it Vanguard's coming to, one of them's coming to Game Pass. Vanguard
is available on Game Pass today.
Right. So So I'm going to give that to Steve. So Steve can have that one.
Yes.
Kojima announcement. That's definitely not going to happen. We didn't see
Nothing.
Kojima at all.
No.
Fallout 3, New Vegas remakes. I mean, that's a little bit, but also because we did see some Fallout stuff. We did see some. What was it? I can't think what it was now, but they did announce a little bit of Fallout 76 infestations.
That was it. Yes.
Yeah. So State of Decay, I think we all knew that was coming. So gonna give myself that. New Halo game. Technically, there was a new Halo game, but it's
technically that is a new Halo game, and they've also got new levels on there. So there's 3 new campaign levels that have never been seen before.
Yeah, so that, I mean, again, that was one of the things I looked at and thought, do you know what? I'm going to jump into that. Blade announcement. That was a definite one. Same for Ghost Recon Rainbow Six. Same for Banjo-Kazooie. It then gets to the bottom and it's cut off what we were talking about. So there's 3 images at the bottom. One looks like a potato sitting at a desk. One looks like a guy with some guns, and one looks like a teddy bear with a reflection on the wall. So the only other thing I can think of,
I can't remember what they were.
So I predicted there would be a anniversary. I think I said about having an anniversary edition of the ROG Ally X.
Right.
But because obviously ROG had done the 20th edition, so I thought, well, they could just rebrand it as a 25th edition, not put the limited edition X-Real glasses with it. So I am going to give myself an applause because I did preempt a new console, but it was just a green Xbox with a green controller, which looks bloody stunning. And I think it's something like the 7th of November or something like that. I'm literally taking a day off of school for that. I'm going to sit at home pressing the refresh button to try and get myself one of those.
Just gotta get it. You know, it's just like, so is that when they reckon that the pre-orders would go live?
Yeah, I think so. I'm just looking at the website now because I don't think they've actually physically announced when it's coming up. But no, they haven't. But I'm pretty sure I saw somewhere.
Would that be Gamescom, do you reckon? That'll be like, because that's coming up soon, isn't it? August time, got Gamescom.
Yeah. I think it was sort of like saying, I think they were saying this will be available to order because they're doing the controller on its own and then they're doing the controller on the Xbox. I mean, I did think, if I can get my hands on this, it would be cool to have like the OG green Xbox as well. And they're going for £1,000 on eBay.
Holy moly.
So that ain't going to happen.
But that wasn't even the first iteration, though, was it? Because the first one was the ginormous X, which was just it was lovely. I've still got mine. Mine's all packaged away. It still works as well. Yeah, it still works. I got it out recently to just kind of test it, and it still works, which is awesome.
Yeah, or maybe that last one was your Forza Horizon Godzilla. It just looks like a teddy bear. Yeah, so that obviously didn't happen, but there's definitely going to something come. So maybe, I mean, maybe that will be Gamescom, or maybe it was just a little bit too close to the release. So
so all in all, I thought it was really good. What did you think? Like?
I really enjoyed it. I think, to be honest, I think I quite enjoyed all of them. I enjoyed the PlayStation one. I thought that was really good, which we discussed slightly on the last pod. I was really happy with the Xbox one. I think a lot of people have been saying sort of B plus A. I'm a definite A person. I think yes, they could have shown more in the future, but then, hey, what's the point? I mean, let's say Crazy Taxi. You showed Crazy Taxi, which is currently potentially in early development. So you ain't seeing that till 28, 29, probably. So do they want to get into another situation like Perfect Dark where they go, and one more thing, and then as we'll get onto in a minute, the game gets canned or it just doesn't happen.
Yes.
So I think they played it safe, obviously, with Asha coming in, and this is probably recorded before she came in anyway, but they did it was good, but I think they did play it safe and just purposely didn't show us anything coming up because I don't think they really can at the moment. So the next news story is the start of a downturn in our happiness, unfortunately. So this one is off of IGN, and it's about the game Lunar Abyss, which I think Steve did talk about on the last pod, or I think he's played it. But it's like entire Lunar Abyss development team laid off in 1 month after launch is the headline. The entire development team of Lunar Abyss, a well-received shooter that was released just a month ago, has been laid off. Holly Emery, the CEO of Kawi Labs, revealed the news on LinkedIn post. Emery claimed that the decision to make the development team redundant was completely outside of her control. The decision was made despite piles of critical praise for Lunar Abyss. The game currently holds an 81 on Metacritic. Unfortunately, it doesn't appear to have made a commercial splash, with Lunar Abyss peaking at just 178 concurrent players on Steam, suggesting it hasn't found a big audience. So, unfortunately, it's I don't know. I mean, it wasn't even. I mean, it's still available on Xbox, on PlayStation, on PC at $29.99. So it's not like it was $100 game. And I think that when we discussed it, I'm pretty sure it was the last pod, we all sort of looked at it and thought, oh, that looks good.
Yeah,
that's really good. It was on Game Pass. So unfortunately, as we'll get on to the next story, it's we're just seeing more and more of this.
Absolutely, it's really interesting because the next news item where we're talking about kind of Microsoft Studios, it just really does seem that we've got a lot of studios at the moment where they're releasing a game and then they're closing. It's not even like it's a while after. It's like it's almost like their last ditch attempt to just get that game out. I don't know what they were expecting Lunar Abyss to make, and so did they look and say it just hasn't made the numbers, and then that was it. But I don't know. It never really. The first time we heard about it, first time I heard about it was from Steve. So it hadn't really had a big marketing push. So I don't know what they were expecting, but it's just such a shame, with that and other news items that are around at the moment. The gaming industry, it just feels a little bit unsafe at the moment.
Yeah, it doesn't really say, to be honest. It just sort of like says about the layoff and then goes on to a few other stories. Similar sort of thing that we're going to touch on. But I think it was, I think Steve played it because it just was on Game Pass. So he jumped into it and played it. And there will be people that will argue the fact of that, well, if it wasn't on Game Pass, maybe then people would have bought the full money for it and played it. But then I can say on Steve's behalf, he wouldn't have even played it if it wasn't on Game Pass. I don't believe so. But yes, so unfortunately, that's a scenario. And then the news ain't getting much better with you for the next story about Xbox.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a news item that was doing the rounds yesterday, and I'm sure kind of at the time of we're doing this, I just quickly checked some social media feeds, and I'm sure by the time we post it, there will be more information around this. But Microsoft are reportedly, according to Bloomberg, shutting South of Midnight developer Compulsion Games and also Psychonauts and Keeper developer Double Fine. So right now, both of those studios are negotiating their kind of almost their independence. So obviously we all know that Double Fine were previously independent. They did an amazing documentary series on YouTube about the making of Psychonauts. But even Tim Schafer, who heads up Double Fine, said that coming into the Xbox family allowed them to put more polish onto Psychonauts and add more levels, more detail, and just extended the gameplay. So now these two developers, Double Fine and Compulsion Games, South of Midnight was amazing. You liked South of Midnight, didn't you? You really enjoyed that game.
I love that game, and I think I'll echo what I heard on a couple of podcasts, which was, I think it was Paris Lily was saying that, when you got to the combat side of it, it sort of lacked a little bit, and it was a little bit sort of like, oh, okay. But the other side of it, just the feel of being in the Deep South, the music, it was a really, really good game. It was one of those games that it was pulling me back in to play it and see where it was going. And I really, really enjoyed it. And I think that a lot of people, including myself, were like, okay, so they've got this new sort of IP out. They've got this new game out. It's really good. I quite like it. What can they do with number two? With number two, they could do this, they could do that. And unfortunately, unless something happens like they can get spun off, I don't think that's going to happen. And then obviously yeah, I agree with what you said about Tim Schafer, and same with Psychonauts 2, that the factor that enabled them to put more in it and more levels and more bosses because of Xbox taking it over. And obviously, if both these studios go off, if they go south of Midnight and Compulsion, they all go off and just do their, not do their own thing, but they get spun off, then are they going to start going back onto the are they going to start going back onto, like, what is it?
They're like GoFundMe
Kickstarter
pages. Yeah, exactly.
yeah. Because
Exactly.
is it going to be that again? And then obviously you've got that whole stress of coming out of this game, making the page, making that, and raising money. So, but then it has worked good for some platforms, and some platforms have thrived again from doing it. So, yeah, you just don't know. It's so uncertain at the moment.
Yeah. And along with those two, there's also the one that surprised me the most was Ninja Theory. So Senua Sacrifice developer Ninja Theory is also in this mix. And by all accounts, because they showed Senua at the Xbox showcase the week before, according to Eurogamer, before we came up to Pod, that was basically showed to almost like potential investors. So it was like they were giving them that kind of like big floor, the big showpiece, going, look what these guys can do, because their games, they may not be for everybody, but their games are absolutely stunning. They're incredible both visually and audially. They are absolutely amazing. So those three studios are kind of up, and also the rumor that was coming from Bloomberg and other sources was that there are other studios as well. So as well as this, we also some people were let go over the weekend, or some people have now left Microsoft as well, including Craig Duncan, who headed up Rare, who headed up Rare for years. He went over to head up all of the game studios, and he's been heading up the 20 game studios for about 2 or 3 years. He's gone. Louise O'Connor, who was the voice of Leafos in Viva Pinata, and she was responsible for Viva Pinata. She was obviously part of the Everwild team, but then went over to the US. She's also left Microsoft as well. So we're losing some really big players, some really big studios are being jettisoned from Microsoft at the moment. And for the first time, normally when I watch this, I'm like, yeah, no, everything's going to be fine. I can see why they're doing this. And I even gave, Aisha Sharma kind of the benefit of the doubt, going, all of these changes were probably in her 100-day manifesto. She got that job because of what she was saying. And she seemed to, right up until this showcase, Xbox, we can't just say it's Aisha, it's all of them. But Xbox seemed to be right. Yeah, we're back, guys. I still don't get the exclusivity. I don't get the tribalism behind exclusivity. The reason I own the box pretty much is because I love Xbox and I'm invested in Xbox and the controller. I like the controller, probably not as much as used to, but I like the controller, and that's why. And because I decided to go for Xbox when everybody made this digital choice, my choice was Xbox. I play on PlayStation a lot. I play on Switch a lot, but Xbox was mine. And I thought, you know what? If you've got to do what you've got to do, but for me, if they need more money, if Xbox as a brand needs to make more money, stop with the exclusives. Like Gears of War, I know that there was a couple of my friends who own PlayStation and they're very invested in PlayStation. They were looking forward to Gears of War and they wanted to kind of like go through that campaign. And for me, who's like a Gears advocate, they wanted to kind of do it with me. And so I was like, yeah, absolutely. They're not in the situation where they can buy an Xbox. Like we're very unique, us and our friends, that we own all of the consoles, or most of the consoles. Not everybody has that situation. So bring the games to them. That's where they are. It shouldn't matter. Those people that want exclusivity for their own platform, I don't understand it. I wish that my Xbox only friends could play Spider-Man, because Spider-Man's incredible. But we will never get that. They have to stomp up the money for the PlayStation. But So we don't hear these stories from Nintendo. We don't hear these stories from Sony. Xbox are third, and they're really feeling it at the moment, and they just keep throwing stuff out there, trying to be transparent. But it's worrying. It's absolutely worrying what they're doing at the moment.
Well, I think that it's a couple of ways of looking at it. It's like, I completely agree with your exclusives. It is just, it's stupid to basically go, oh, we want exclusive for this console, we want exclusive for that console. I can honestly say, the next Mario comes out. I really enjoyed Odyssey. Would I buy a Switch to play the next Mario Odyssey game? Probably not. Would I buy a PlayStation to play Wolverine? No. So it won't get me to buy, something like Wolverine, which I looked at and I will play because I have got a PlayStation. Would I buy a PlayStation just for that game, or for, Ghost of Yotaro, things like that? I don't think I would, because I am heavily invested on the Xbox side. And for people on the PlayStation side, would they buy an Xbox for Gears? No. Would they buy an Xbox for Halo? No. But when you've put like Sea of Thieves and when you've put Forza onto the PlayStation, they've been rave successes. And I can imagine Halo, Combat Evolved, is going to be a really big success on PlayStation. And fundamentally, if you are an Xbox fan and you don't want Xbox to die, you've sort of got to go, look, let's put the games elsewhere, because the more money they make on the other platforms means that the console that you love and the network you love and the games that you love will exist. It's as simple as that, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also the other thing I heard, which was quite interesting, because obviously some people don't know, but obviously Microsoft own LinkedIn, but LinkedIn is treated as a completely separate company with just a thread of a tie to Microsoft. So I think they have to pay like a royalty or a license fee and Azure cost back to Microsoft. So there was a few rumors going around that, well, will Microsoft spin off Xbox like LinkedIn to be its own business, which I quite like the idea of, in respects of if it's Xbox and not necessarily all the tech studios. I don't know how that would work, but if they spin Xbox off and then it's in its own control, it doesn't have to ask Satya for permission. It doesn't have to go to Amy for costs. Will it actually be a lot more profitable like LinkedIn is, and actually things get turned around a lot quicker? I mean, it's ludicrous that Fallout has had such a great show, but yet, as far as we know, there's not anything in development to accompany that. So
yes.
I don't know. And obviously some of the people that listen to the pod and have been on the pod before work for Microsoft, and we feel for those people, that friends of theirs that are, potentially, lost their jobs or could lose their jobs, and it's a worrying time. But it's got to change, because I don't believe children of my daughter's age are playing games like we did when we were kids. And if they are, they're playing games that they're just going to rinse all the time. They're playing Roblox, they're playing Minecraft, or they're playing Fortnite or FIFA or things like that. They're not playing all those little games and not playing the Halos and the Wolverines and things like that. So I think gaming's got to change, and maybe we will see a box that does everything one day, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're absolutely right. I think it's more of kind of, our age and maybe slightly younger, that is the real kind of like this gaming hardcore. I've got some friends at work, and they just play. There's one guy just plays GTA 5, all the time. He's so excited for GTA 6, but that's it. That's all he plays. He played Harry Potter, he played Spider-Man, but he doesn't play it enough that if something cool came out, then that he would go off and buy another console. It's just, so I just don't get it. And you're absolutely spot on. When Horizon, Sea of Thieves all came out on PlayStation, they were like 1-2 in the bestsellers. They were there. It was almost like Microsoft had something like 3 or 4 of the top 10 of PlayStation at one point. Like Minecraft Dungeons, Minecraft, Sea of Thieves, Horizon, they were all there. There was like, so just continue that. As an Xbox fan, it doesn't matter to me if I see Xbox on. Actually, what I want to see Xbox on Switch. You know, I'm just like, I want them to put that on Switch. I want them to put Viva Pinata on the Switch, but I just want it on Switch. You know, and you know, I joke, but if they want to make money, they just do a new Viva Pinata, stick it on Switch. It will on Switch and Switch 2. It will sell gangbusters. It will absolutely. There you go. There's all the money you need. Like right there and there.
There you go, James. When you go to work tomorrow, go in and said, "Look, I got an answer. This is what we need to do." My mate Anthony.
Yeah, I've got a plan. But it's just like
all his colleagues are going to turn around and go, "Not him again."
But it's just you know, that's what they need to do. They need to kind of they have a great catalogue. It worries me slightly that the noise that's coming out of Microsoft going, we're going to give you what you want. You know, we're going to make these games. And no, what I want all those other games that kind of come out. I want all of those. I want the risks that they took with Viva Pinata, with other games, you know, the Blinks, with all of those other games that they have kind of created and really kind of hit. They've swung and they've hit. I don't want them just to kind of keep rinsing and repeating. As much as I love Halo and as much as I love Gears, I don't just want to keep playing those all the time. I want stuff in between. And that's why I thought, even though Phil went crazy spending, it's so impressive, the studios that Xbox has. If they just allowed every one of those studios to make their own games, make the games they want, you know, get Toys for Bob making Banjo or something like that, or Rare, as I said last time, I want Rare to make Banjo, then you're going to empower people to make the games that they want to make. And that's just going to bring joy, and that's what gaming's about. And you know, it's really funny because obviously we're all kind of like get invested in this. Like Nicola knows none of this. You know, she's like, oh, when can I play Halo? You know, like when can I? You know, and I'm like, oh, you know, I say, oh, there's turmoil at Xbox. She's like, oh yeah, so when does Gears come out? You know, doesn't care. You know, and I think sometimes, you know, we maybe look too hard under the rug that we shouldn't be looking. But Xbox at the moment are being very open. They're being very transparent. You know, good and bad.
Talking about Nicola, how many hours or days did she have in 2 Point Museum, was it?
She's still playing. I mean, there's a new DLC that's just come out, and she hasn't played that yet at the moment because she's going back through her museums. So right now, I'm just going to, because she's playing it right now as we pod. Where is it? So, yeah, there. So she has, 2 Point Museum, she's almost got all of the achievements. She has played it for 499 hours. So she's been playing 2 Point Museum for 499. She's almost getting up to, I should tell her soon that she's almost getting to 500 hours.
That is just, I'm going to do some maths now. So
her museums are a work of art, I tell you.
So that's, yeah, so she's basically been playing it for 20 days straight.
Yes.
So, you know.
Absolutely. She has been playing. That is like, she
sounds like the perfect marriage to me.
Her museums are a work of art. You know, you go in, it takes you through the prehistory, it takes you to this. You know, there's honestly, it is. She's missed a vocation in life. I think she should be a museum curator because her museums are incredible.
I hope she never, well, she can't because I think the island went, but she should never come to my museum on Animal Crossing because my museum was a shambles. It was like broken glass, things everywhere, things in the wrong place. So,
do you ever wonder about those islands in Animal Crossing? I just imagine everyone's might be eating each other or kind of like Lord of the Flies.
But it's completely overgrown, cannibalism, you know, some weird pirate has taken over the island. But no, I think I unsuccessfully somehow went to move from to the OLED Switch and then lost the island. And I mean, to be honest, I got a bit sort of like when Terraformer came in, I was a bit like, oh, you know, I haven't actually got to do anything now, and I quite liked going and doing something every day. But you know, it does amaze me people are still playing it. So, right. So the next story is we're going to go on to a bit of Forza. So sort of taking it up a little bit in sort of like cheeriness. So Forza Horizon 6 Series 2 update tweaks opponent behavior and makes, this no interest to you, road discovery easier. The game Season 2 live challenges start on Thursday the 18th, so tomorrow as we record this, with new batches of weekly challenges allowing players to unlock new cars and other rewards. Before then, an update has been rolled out which tweaks AI opponents' behavior and makes road discovery easier, among other things. According to patch notes, the new update makes improvements to difficulty balancing and changing the way that driver tars opponents behave at the start of races. What do you mean, not ramming you off the road most of the time? Players who still have to reach the 100% road discovery will also get assistance, with roads driven percentage being added to region overview screens, making it easier for players to see what regions they have the roads remaining in. The Players Horizon Play Mode, which is where online players races can be found, has also received tweaks to rate at which players level up, with the developer Playground Games saying players now earn more XP between levels 26 and 100. And then there's loads of other general fixes, performance stability, fixes an issue where launching the game after running benchmark mode would take longer than expected. There's AI fixes, there's audio fixes, there's a new Lamborghini. There's loads and loads of bits and pieces in there. So I think at the end of the day, I mean, I'm scrolling down on VGC's website and there's a ton of updates.
Wow.
I mean, I know it's only well, I say only it's a new game, but it's quite nice to see that there's lots of fixes and tweaks going on. I mean, I noticed the other day they put up a message saying that Eliminator had been turned off because there was I don't know if you played Eliminator in it, but Eliminator's a little bit like a battle royale where you all start off in like I don't know, a Robin Reliant for one. I think it's a little Honda, and then as you drive around the island, you see these drops, and so you'll see like a Subaru or you'll see a Mitsubishi or a Porsche drop, and you drive up to it, and then you swap your car over. And then what you do is you challenge people in races,
right? And
then fundamentally, the last race, the person who wins it wins the Eliminator. But apparently, there's some sort of glitch where you could earn like 1 million XP just by playing one game or something like that. So, but again, what's great with Playgrounds, they turned it off and said, "Sorry guys, we've got a problem. We're just going to turn it off for the minute." And then I think they turned it back on, and then they just look, "We're really sorry. Look, here's a load of XP, or here's a free car as an apology for the time." So
that's really cool. That's really cool.
But I mean, I do love. I mean, Forza Horizon is one of my all-time favorite games. Always going back to the first one. I think this one I'm definitely going to spend more time dipping in and out doing the seasons, because I really enjoyed doing the seasons the other day, and I think that's the first time I've really sort of like caned a full season. But no, it's good to see new cars, new bits and pieces, and then obviously at some point we'll get the update for it. But yeah, no, really hats off to them for keep on, updating it for us.
Yeah, I must admit, I really enjoyed spring. I mean, the winter looked incredible. I think we were talking about that last time. But when spring hit, obviously Japan's like kind of very famous for the cherry blossoms, but just having it everywhere, it was absolutely gorgeous, especially over the roads as well. And I really enjoyed just kind of. I love when you jump into the game and you're playing. They may have left it on the standby mode, and then suddenly it just refreshes and you get that kind of new season, and it's just really lovely when that kind of happens. So obviously, next one we're going to get is summer, I guess, which is going to start on Thursday. But that'll be really interesting to see what they do with that.
Yeah, I've done my full spring. So I've done my full winter, my full spring. Last night I was cursing. Actually, I think I did. I think I finally did it this morning. But there was a speed trap where you had to race an A700 Japanese car, and I was going through my Hondas, I was going through my Subarus, I was going through everything, I was getting like 159 miles an hour, and of course the benchmark was 160.
Oh my god!
I ended up managing to do it. I was like, yes, I've done it.
But that's it, though, isn't it? The elation when you try those and you have to do it again and again. It's like when you have an XP board. When you're close to an XP board, you rewind, you tweak it just a little bit, and then you go for it. Like the elation you get once you hit that is just second to none.
Thank God for that rewind button.
Yes.
And also a little tip for anybody who's playing it: there is an MX-5 or a Mazda Miata somewhere in the game. I found it on the end of one of the drag strips. If you get that, I think it's sort of like I'll put it up on the screen now because I took a picture of it. It's a Mazda MX-5. It's purple, and I think it's got like the engine out the front of it. If you boost that up to X999, which is the highest upgrade you could do, that thing will do any jump and will do any of the danger zones and speed traps you want it to. It just
Nice.
absolutely, like, jump this for 400, you end up doing 600 in it.
Lovely. Just to have good handling as well, because
Yeah,
I find
yeah.
sometimes when I do like X99 a car, you'll get the speed, but the handling is just like, it's all over the place. It's just like snaking everywhere.
Yeah, no, it's not what's the Lotus Evora, the like multi-million pound. That is undrivable in it. You get to a certain speed and it just wants to kill you.
Yes.
But no, yeah, it's a bit lively, as you can imagine, in a Mazda MX-5 at X999. But it is a really good car if you go and find it. So
Awesome.
we mentioned before about the Valve Steam machine, and our last story is about that, Anthony.
Absolutely. So Valve have been teasing for a while the brand new Steam machine and also Steam Frame as well, which is their VR headset as well. So they've got both the Steam. They got the Steam Cube. They have the Steam Machine and also the Frame are coming out sometime this year. They put it back because of component parts, which we've been talking about before. But there's been a couple of leakers that have kind of got a couple of predictions correct in the past. Have both said that. So according to Steam hardware updates on Twitter, so they basically just said that reviewers and content creators are currently receiving review units of Steam Machine and also Steam Frame, with the review embargo is lifting on the 23rd of June. This leaker, Steam hardware update, believes that the console will be announced on the 23rd of June at 6 p.m. BST. That's a real kind of sharp prediction, with gamers being able to reserve a console on Tuesday the 30th of June at 6 p.m. BST.
Ooh.
So if this is to believe, then people are starting to get it. They're starting to use it, starting to play around with it, and it looks like the pre-order date is imminent. So what are we now? We are the 17th of June as we pod. Yeah. So it's not long away. It's only 6 days away.
Yeah, it's I'm just looking at my calendar to see what I'm doing that day. I mean, it's one of those classic ones where if it comes out around about what they were saying of potentially £700-800, I don't know. I am tempted because it is a little box and it will sit in the AV rack downstairs and connect to the TV. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones where it comes out. I mean, I think that I saw the other day that there was a shipping manifesto or something like that into the States where it was like 30 tons of electronics came in with like the word computer consoles on it or something like that. But as they've said before, Steam did use the word computer console for a lot of their products. So the old VR headset, obviously the Steam Deck. So there must be out there. And I do like the little square form factor with the interchangeable and the LED and all that lot. So do you think you'll pick one up? Or
I probably won't, because I'm like I say, the reason why I went for the ROG was because I did want to double dip constantly on games. So I like having a handheld because I do a lot of travel. So I just wanted to be able to kind of like play those. So when the ROG came out and it had a Game Pass on it, I'm like, that's a no brainer. I'm already paying that, so I don't have to double dip. So I don't think I'm going to get, as much as I love it, I think it's great, a great little form factor, as you say. You can switch out the way it looks, and the one thing that I hope that Steam do again is they're really good at handling pre-orders as well. So their website sells out quicker than anything, and you can't get to it or refresh it. But it does. They do allow you. I think you have to have an active account on Steam. So you have to have an active account on Steam. You have to have actually used Steam for a while, and maybe even got a couple of Steam achievements before you can pre-order. I think that's what they did with the to stop scalpers, because you know what it's going to be like. You go to eBay, can't get one on Steam, but you go to eBay and you can see one for double the price. So they try to stop that from happening and try to kind of get around that.
Right, well, thank God that's the end of the podcast, because I need to go and play some Steam games. Quick! Where's
you really need to start. I think when the because I was never a Steam player, when I tried to get the Steam Deck when the first Steam Deck came out, I couldn't get it in the first round of pre-orders because I hadn't registered enough like kind of gaming time on Steam because I just didn't really have it. So there was no way for me to play it. So that's what they did. And similar in Nintendo as well. Nintendo had a whole kind of convoluted way before you could pre-order a Switch 2 directly from them. And I quite like that because I think it really kind of stops the scalpers. It gives the new hardware to the real kind of hardcore fans first.
Well, and going to a positive story about Xbox was that everybody at the Los Angeles or San Francisco Fan Fest who had a fan badge got given one of the limited edition X25 consoles or a voucher to redeem it when it comes out. It's like some of those people, obviously, they won a prize to get into that, and then they've obviously traveled wherever they are in America or maybe even the world to go to it. And then to be given that is brilliant. It's just tarnished a little bit with the other stories at the moment. But
yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, I think I'm probably the same as you. Part of me will be like, oh yeah, I'd love to get it to have a play with it, for the pod, and then downstairs. But no, I've got the ROG, I've got the deck in front of me, which I can dock it onto the OLED. So actually, if I want to sit and play like Video Game Simulator or some of those little games that are $6.99 or $9.99, I could just do that, play it on the ROG, or come up here and dock it and just put my feet up on the desk and play it on that. So it'll be interesting to see. And obviously, if it's going out to reviewers and testers, obviously we have a gaming podcast, which is okay.
I was going to say, have you got one? As Gabe Newell give you? Did you miss a call today from Gabe Newell?
No, but there's a massive yacht in Rye Harbour, and I'm not sure whose it is.
He's hand delivering it. Didn't he do that? Did Gabe deliver the first Steam Deck? He did, didn't he?
The first. There was a video of him in a car, and it was like the first sort of 10 Steam Decks around wherever he was, San Francisco or something like that. He actually went to people's doors, and it was funny because I know, like, I'm sure I remember he went to one door, rung the doorbell, and it was obviously whoever bought it. It was either his wife or his mum. So it'd always be like Nicola answering the door. So Gabe Newell going, I've got a package for you. Oh, cool. Thanks, Mr. DPD driver.
Thanks, DPD Gabe.
Anthony gets home and looks at his Ring doorbell and goes, that was Gabe Newell.
Did you invite him in for a cup of tea? So...
Yeah, no, I remember that. But it'll be interesting to see. But that's it. That's the podcast for today. It's 10 minutes past 9, so I've only missed that funny 5 minutes of the football. So
there you go.
So that's fine. So if people want to catch up with you, Anthony, where do they find you online?
So for me, I'm a mixed bag. I am Chessman on Xbox. I'm PS-Chessman on PlayStation, and a whole mix on social media. I think I'm Anthony Chessman on Threads and various things around, but mainly Chessman on Xbox and PS-Chessman on PlayStation 5.
Excellent. I am mainly on Xbox. I am General Letdown on Xbox and PlayStation, but you'll mostly find me on Xbox in the Japanese roads in Forza Horizon. On social media, I'm mainly on most platforms of Mr. Stuart Burgess, and then the ever-present Mr. Stephen Carter can be found on most platforms as SteeCarter91. So if you have any feedback for the show, please leave a comment wherever you're watching or listening, but you can also email us at hello@gamersandlostspark.com. So thank you, Anthony, for jumping back on board for your second episode. I know after we finished the pod last week, it was almost like winding the days back 6 years, and you were as like on the WhatsApp afterwards, you were like, oh, that was amazing. It was so good to talk about games.
I was bouncing off the walls on the way down to the movie room. I'll tell you, I was like, I couldn't get enough of it. It was great fun. No, thank you very much for having me back. I've really enjoyed it. Thanks for the natter, Stu.
Excellent. No, thank you for taking the time, and we will catch up with you soon.
Excellent stuff. Talk to you later on. Thanks very much, chap.
Bye.
Bye.